In this lesson, we're going to talk about, and I'm going to show you, how to apply the prismatic effect, or otherwise known as the chisel effect, to some text, which you can also apply to objects. Now, the prismatic effect is actually a combination effect. It's using the shading effects with bevel and lighting to create the prismatic look. To apply prismatic effect is quite easy. You simply select on the text here, or on an object. You go down to this tool here, which is the Special Effects and Shading flyout. You click on that. In the bottom right hand corner here you see this prismatic flyout. Now it'll be chopped off on your screen because of the recording size, but if I go down and select the number 6 preset, you can see what's happened here. We've had a bevel applied and we have some shading and some lighting coming across, and we get this chisel look, or the prismatic effect. And we can apply that to any other object by simply doing that, just clicking on one of these presets. You can also make these effects from scratch by using the shading effects editor, but we've put these presets in just to make it very quick and easy for you to do it. You can also apply prismatic effects to a shape. So if I go to, say, the general clip art here, I'll scroll down and find something solid here. This will do. Click on accept. I'll put that there. Now I'll do exactly the same thing. Click on this flyout, come down and apply a prismatic effect. Now you can see here, if I zoom in a little, you see what's happening here is the bevel height is not quite high enough to come to the center. Now that's easily fixed by clicking on this tool here. This is the shading tool. Now down in the heads up display down here, whenever you have an effect applied to some text or an object, you'll see its effect button down in the bottom here. If you click on that, you can see that it goes into that mode, that effects mode, and gives me some on-screen controls, or a gizmo. So if I bring that in, you can see there I fixed that up. So now it's a full and complete prismatic effect, which I can then move off. Now, if I want to edit that and actually affect the shading and where the lighting is coming from, that's really quite easy to do that. All I need to do is select the effect, and I'll just quickly show you where else you can get to it. I can obviously click there as I've shown you, but if I click off that and click on it, I've selected the object but I'm not in that effects mode. If I click on the effects flyout here and I go over to edit effects, you'll see shaded effects. So I click on that, again I get the gizmos and these nodes to edit this effect. If I click off it, I'll click on this one up here. Again, I've just got text selected. As you can see in the second row of tools, it's telling me what the object size and position is, and it's giving me my text tools. And that's a great thing with VinylMaster. I can come in here and I can type in another letter, click off it, and it recalculates it for me. So everything is live and dynamic. So I can just delete that, click off it, and it recalculates it. If I want to edit the actual prismatic effect on this, I simply go up to the effects menu and I can click on edit effects. Sorry, I haven't got it selected. Selected properly. Effects, shaded effects. And I click on that and that now selects it. Okay, that's all good. Now, a job that we provide in VinylMaster over here is in the samples folder, and you can look at this anytime you like, and these effects are live and fully interactive, so you can edit them and fiddle with them. If I select on this here, you can see I get my tools. I've got a drop shadow or a soft shadow on this job, and I've also got my shading effects. If I click on shading effects, you'll see the gizmo comes up as expected, and you've got these extra tools here. This one hides our effects, as you can see, so we don't have to be bothered by them if we don't want to be. I can bring those back. I can also lock my effects. The advantage of that is if I lock my effects, I can select on these objects and move them around without actually selecting or clicking on the effect. And I've got my effects selecting buttons here. But over here on the right, I have the shading tools, which brings up the shading effects editor, as you can see here when I've clicked on it. And this gives me a whole bunch of options. Lots of tools, lots of possibilities here. So if I just scroll in and just zoom into this, and unfortunately the screen area is a little bit small when we're recording, but that's okay, we can still see something. I can put that out the way. I can also roll this up in the top right hand corner here. If I click on that button, that rolls the shading effects editor up, and I can just put it out of the way. I can put it right off the screen if I want to. I'll roll that back down, and you can see here that when I select this item, all these tools become available now. So if I start moving this around, you can see how it immediately affects the actual shading, and quite dramatically. And the bevel profile here at the moment it's set to 18%, and if I make that lower, you'll see how how the actual prismatic effect is dramatically changed. If I put that back at say 20%, and I'll change the actual profile. So this is the profile I'm going to change, and you can see now it looks like it's scalloped. So these are very quick ways of changing the actual presentation of this effect. There's a lot more you can do in this effects editor, and because it's got its own lessons, I won't go into those now. It's just more showing you where you go and how you do it. So I'll just put that back to the standard set like that. And as you can see, the other things you can do, if I just move that over here, if I want to change the color of this effect, what I need to do is click on it, and I can change its color, because it's actually it's seeing this as text. So for example, if I zoom that up and I scroll out, I can actually change that to some other word, like I was doing before on the other one. Just let it recalculate, and there you go. So that's how you apply a chisel effect or a prismatic effect to text or an object, and then you come into the shading effects editor to edit it. And what you need to do is have a look at the separate lesson for the shading effects editor where we go over each individual tab and what it does. And that's Prismatic. It's the end of this lesson.